Hi friends, welcome back. Can we continue? Okay, now we'll discuss three important rubrics. That is absent-minded, absorbed and abstraction of mind. The first three consecutive rubrics in Kent's repertory. Absent-minded, absorbed and abstraction of mind. So I will give the differentiating features. You have to give the miasm. Okay? Yes. So absent-minded, you just go through the repertory. All these three the medicines are entirely different in these three rubrics. So absent-minded means inattention of mind. The mind is not directed towards any problem. Listen to these three rubrics very carefully. Because if we call in all these three situations, if we call the children, if we call the child or that particular person, he will not respond. But the reason is entirely different. In this all three cases, they will not respond, but the reason is entirely different. So absent-minded is inattention of mind. Child is not attending to our call. But always remember, his mind is not directed towards any problem. Now what about the absorbed? In this case also, he is not attending to our call or not listening to us. Because the mind is directed towards one problem. He is concentrating on one problem. That is why he is not reading what is going around him. And this rubric, absorbed, is called as an intellectual mental rubric. Intellectual mental rubric. Usually for the scientists and for the highly intellectual people. They are not reading what is going around him. So they are concentrated in one aspect. Highly ambitious people. And in the third one, that's abstraction of mind. Abstraction of mind. That means the patient is totally out of reality. This is a destructive symptom that we usually work out in schizophrenia. It's a very good rubric for the schizophrenia. Totally out of reality. So absorbed, that means buried in thoughts but concentrated on objects. Absent-mindedness is not concentrating on anything. Abstraction of mind is totally out of reality. It's a destructive symptom. So can you cite the miasm of these three rubrics? Absent-minded, absorbed and abstraction of mind? Yes, very good, very good. Many people, many of my friends, they corrected that as correctly. Correct miasm. Absent-minded is a soric symptom. Absorbed is a psychotic symptom. Intellectual mental rubric. That comes under the psychosis. And the abstraction of mind is a syphilitic symptom, schizophrenia. Yes, very good, very good. Now the next rubric. Why I saying that the comparative study of the rubric is the best one. Otherwise, it is very difficult to select the required rubric. That I will give one example from this. Anxiety, fear, anticipation, anguish, apprehension, and panic. Both are more or less similar dictionary meaning, but their interpretations and the medicines are entirely different. Interpretations or the medicines are entirely different. So just closely watch this the sixth rubric. You will get why the comparative study is required or not. You will get an idea about that. Otherwise, it is very difficult to study the correct rubric in that case. So what is the exact denotation of anxiety? And it is very easy to compare between the anxiety and the fear. So I will give one simple example. Anxiety without any cause, but fear has a definite cause. The patient can realize after that particular incident, I started this type of problem. So that means fear. But anxiety means without any cause. Always remember, anxiety without any cause. Patient unable to trace the etiology or the reason. Unnecessarily anxious. That is anxiety. You just go through the rubric anxiety and fear and see the difference between the remedies also. Fear has a definite cause. Now, what is the denotation of anticipation? This is also another type of anxiety, but medicines are entirely different. Medicines are entirely different. Yes, okay, thank you. So anticipation means anxiety for a good thing. Anxiety for a good thing. I will give some good example. and the student has written the examination very well, and he himself know that he will get the first rank or the A plus. But at the on the day of this declaration of the result, he has a lot of anxiety. He studied very well, and he himself realized that I will definitely get the first rank. Still, he is anxious. Even though I know the lady I am going to marry since last many years, at the venue of this marriage ceremony, I got some anxiety. So that is anticipation. So anticipation means anxiety for a good thing. You got the idea? Now anguish. So what is the exact denotation or the condition of the rubric anguish? That means anxiety with the physical sufferings, such as anxiety with the tremor, trembling, diarrhea, perspiration, etc. Anxiety with the physical sufferings. Then only we can take the rubric anguish. Anxiety with the physical sufferings. Now, what is the meaning of denotation of apprehension? Apprehension. This is another degree of anxiety. Apprehension means fear with an element of doubt and expectation of something unpleasant is going to happen in my family. Fear with an element of doubt and expectation of something unpleasant is going to happen to my family or to me. Fear with an element of doubt and expectation of something unpleasant. Then panic means extreme fear, extreme fear. Extreme fear, that means a panic. So even though the dictionary meaning are more or less similar, their interpretations are entirely different, and the rubric and the medicines are also different. So anxiety means without any cause, fear with a definite cause. Anticipation means anxiety for a good thing. Anguish, that means anxiety with the physical suffering such as perspiration, tremor, trembling, diarrhea. Apprehension means fear with an element of doubt and expectation of something unpleasant is going to happen. And the panic means extreme fear. So unless we know the difference between this type of so-called similar rubric, if we know the difference between the so-called similar rubric, it is very difficult to select the most appropriate rubric for a patient. That is why I am insisting on the comparative study of the rubric. Then the rubric selection will become very correct. Otherwise, we will select the rubric fear instead of anxiety, or anguish instead of fear, something like that. Then one question by Dr. Kumar Day, Pratik Kumar Day. So what is fright? Fright and fear more or less same. Ailments from fright. Fright and fear more or less similar rubric. No difference between that the medicines in that rubric. So some more rubrics. So this type of synonyms, that is very easy to find out from the software Zomeo. So synonyms for fear, that is listed on the right side. So it is very easy to find out the most appropriate rubric with the help of the Zomeo. And in the past, doctor was God, supreme authority. In the past, doctor was God and the supreme authority. But now the patient as a customer. Patient as a customer and doctor as a service provider. The scenario has entirely changed. The doctor as a service provider and the customer is the king. In the past, the doctor was God, but now the customer is the king. So we have to handle the different type of patients. That means difficult to deal with the patients. One category. They are always demanding, annoying, unrealistic, loud and objectionable. Another type of patients, desirable. They are pleasant, easygoing, intelligent, accommodating and knowledgeable. And another category, they are timid, always questioning, unprepared, lacking knowledge and uncertain about what they want or need. So we have to handle this different type of personalities. So that is not an easy task. You have to handle different types of personalities. Now, I will give some guidelines on the priority in the selection of the rubrics. Not all rubrics of the the chapter mind are important, or not all the rubrics or the symptoms expressed in the sphere of mind is not important. But we have to give the topmost priority to causative emotional modalities. So what is meant by a causative emotional modality? Causative emotional modality. That means etiology, symbol. I will give some good examples. Mind ailment from grief, mind ailment from fright, mind ailment from discord between subordinates and chief, mind ailment from discord between the parents. So the ailment from type rubric that we have to give top priority in the selection for the repertorialization. If the patient is explaining anything like that, we have to give top priority to the causative emotional modality. So that's the first priority, the topmost rubric. And the second important, that's a qualified mental. So what is meant by a qualified mental? Qualified mental means, anybody explain what is meant by a qualified mental? Qualified mental means a mental complaint. Yeah, very good, somewhat similar. Yeah, very good, very good. Dr. Shivam Gupta has given a very correct answer for that. Qualified mental means a mental complaint associated with a physical complaint. A mental complaint associated with a physical complaint. As we discussed earlier, the rubric anguish, that means anxiety with the physical suffering. That's a very good rubric. And the premenstrual tension, PMT, that is nowadays very common. Which rubric will work out for the premenstrual tension? This type of anger or irritability just prior to the menses? The rubric is mind irritability menses before. Mind irritability menses before. That's a rubric for the, yes, very good, Shivam Gupta sir. Mind irritability menses before. That means the menses is a physical general and the irritability is a mental. So this is a basic criteria. First, give priority to the causative emotional modalities, and second, give importance to the qualified mentals. Then only the rubrics like the consolation, aggravation, anger, easily, etc., etc. Company desire for. Company desire for, that is not a good rubric. That's a habit of common. That's a common habit. But if the patient is saying that I have aversion to company, then that's something important. So this is a priority in the selection of the rubric. Now one question by Dr. Ganguly. What's the difference between timidity and cowardly? Cowardice, that's a rubric. Timidity means because of the shame he is not appearing in front of the public. But once he appeared, he will do everything. But cowardice means he has no courage for anything. Both rubrics are entirely different. Now it's very easy to differentiate these four rubrics. Aversion, hatred, disgust, and misanthropy. All are similar dictionary meaning. Medicines are different and interpretations are different. Aversion means in which condition we will work out the rubric aversion. That means a firmly settled dislike. I have aversion to that particular person or aversion to that particular food, whatever it may be. A firmly settled dislike. But hatred means dislike with a prejudice feeling. And everybody is saying that my mother-in-law is a good person, but still I have some dislike towards that person. It's very difficult to wash off that dislike. So that is a hatred. That is applied to a particular individual. Hatred, dislike with a prejudice feeling. Dislike with a prejudice feeling. Now what is the meaning of the rubric disgust? That we already discussed in the first, third or fourth slide. Disgust means dislike after repeated failures and he will stop further efforts. Dislike after repeated failures and he will stop further efforts. He tried many treatments like the allopathy, Ayurveda, Unani, etc., and everything failed and he is not taking any treatment now. So that's a dislike. Then misanthropy. What is the meaning of misanthropy? That means hatred feeling towards a whole community. For an entire community. I have dislike towards that particular religion or dislike towards that particular caste. That means hatred of the whole mankind. The hatred is applicable to a particular individual only, but misanthropy to a group or a community. I have aversion to that particular community or that particular religion or that particular caste. So that's the difference between this so-called similar rubrics, but the medicines and interpretations are entirely different. And there are a lot of interesting rubrics for the politicians also. That's also very interesting to discuss about the rubrics for the politicians. Can anybody know the meaning of the rubric affectation? That is there even in cancer repertory. The meaning of the rubric affectation. The first rubric, affectation. That is one of the best rubric for the politicians. Affectation means The artificial behavior designed to impress others. They are behaving artificially in front of the people or in front of different political or religious group. Affectation, that is a rubric even in Kent's repertory. Artificial behavior designed to impress others. Dr. Shivagupta sir also writes artificial behavior designed to impress others. Fake affection, yes, very good. Fake affection by Dr. Alok Singh. Okay, then the next rubric is calumniate. Calumniate. That is also in Kent's repertory. Alok Singh also writes fake affections. Calumniate means they are uttering always using the false language or the false statement against the leader of the opposition or against the leaders. Uttering false statement against the opposite party. Always they are doing this type of false statements. That's a calumniate. And the third is that a moral feeling want of. They have a lack of moral feeling. For getting power, they will do anything. That we witnessed in everywhere in across India recently. Moral feeling want of. Then what's the meaning of the rubric agitation? Agitated in front of the secretariat or agitated in front of the parliament. Then it is very easy to understand. Agitation means inviting public attention in a cause or controversial matter. Inviting public attention in a cause or controversial matter. That's another job of the politicians. Then anarchist means, what's the difference between the agitation and anarchist? There is one question by Dr. Shivam Gupta. That's what's the difference between calumniate and slander? Slander disposition to, that is also more or less similar rubric between the calumniate. But calumniate means they are always using this trick against the opposition parties. They are more or less similar rubrics. Slander disposition to, using the false allegations or the words. But the allegations are more important in calumniate than the slander. Yes, the revolutionist. Anarchist. Yes, very good. Terrorist. Deep Narayan Ganguly sir had given a good explanation. That's a terrorist. That means anarchist means they are using the violent means to overthrow an established ruling power, like the Naxals or like this former this LTTE, etc., something like that. So anarchist means they are using violent means to overthrow an established ruling power. In agitation, no violent means. They are simply sitting and shouting. But in anarchist, they use violent means to overthrow an established ruling power. So affectation means artificial behavior to impress others. Calumniate means they are always using these allegations. False allegations against the opposite party. Then the moral feeling want of, they have no moral. Agitation, they are sitting and shouting, agitated in front of the parliament. Anarchists, they use violent means. And what is meant by fanaticism? That is also there in Kent's repertory. Fanatic. Fanatic means, slander means they are, Dr. Sifa, slander means they are using this insulting languages or the false languages against others. Yes, sufail, conflict on religious matters, they are somewhat similar. But fanaticism means intolerant of others. I am intolerant of that particular party, or I am intolerant towards that particular religion. So, intolerance of particular party or particular religion. Intolerant of their terms or concepts, that is the fanatic. And Pradeep Kumar Sharma, they want the repetition of the agitation. Agitation means inviting public attention in a cause or matter. Inviting public attention in a cause or controversial matter, but no violence. But anarchists, they have violence. Then fanaticism, that means intolerant of views and concepts. I will never tolerate that religion. I will never tolerate that particular political party. So that is fanatic attitude. Then hypocrisy means, I always say, this is suitable to both for the religious people and also for the politicians. And the priest or the Maulavi, whatever, they are saying that you never take drinks or never bribe or never use prostitution, etc., etc. But in their personal life, they are not following these things. So hypocrisy means pretending principles. They are not following that principles in their life, and this is suitable for the religious leaders also. They are giving a lot of advice regarding the morality, and bribe, etc., etc. But they are not following these principles in their life. Hypocrisy means pretending principles. Some more rubrics related to that. Litigious. This is a rubric in Comparative also. That means they are always taking others into court on trivial matters. Always complaining. So for example, my neighbor looked at my wife. So immediately after that, he gave a complaint to the police station. So always taking others into court or police station on trivial matters. That's the denotation of the litigious. And the meddlesome. Why I always comparing the rubrics, as I said earlier, then only it is easy to select the most appropriate rubric for a particular condition. So husband and wife have problem. I unnecessarily interfere between the husband and wife and creating the problem more worse. So that is the meaning of the meddlesome. Meddlesome, interfering in others' matters which may not concern him. Now, what about the rubric pertinacity? Pertinacity. Pertinacity means persisting in one decision even if others or the entire community disagree. That means persisting in one decision even if others disagree. The entire community that is they told that this decision is not good, that is harmful to you and harmful to the family, but still I persist in that decision. That means pertinacity, extreme type of obstinacy. Persisting in one thing even if others disagree. Now, what is the meaning of the rubric inquisitive? Inquisitive dictionary meaning is curiosity. But in repertorial or material language, that means the curiosity of a negative aspect. Curiosity of a negative aspect. I will give some beautiful example. Suppose in seminars, some people unnecessarily ask some questions. Even though that particular fellow knows the answer itself, he will answer. He want to test whether this speaker know the answer or not. Or in a classroom, some students ask unnecessarily question in order to find out whether a teacher is competent or not. The student himself know the answer. Student himself know the answer, but he will still ask the question. So that is the inquisitive. Curiosity of a negative aspect. Curiosity of a negative aspect. And one question by Dr. Himanshu Goyal. So what is the difference between the pertinacity and fixed ideas? Pertinacity is actually a decision. Fixed idea means something wrong with his mind. That is very difficult to change. That is not a obstinacy, that is not a hard decision. I think, sir, you got the idea, difference between pertinacity. Pertinacity is basically a decision, but fixed ideas means that is something perverted in the mind. That means it is very difficult to change that idea. That is not a decision. Now, one rubric you will always taking this rubric, industrious. What actually the exact denotation of industrious? Many times we make mistake with this rubric. Industrious means industrious. Working day and night, hard working, yeah, very good. Workaholic. Yes, okay. Yeah, I would like to add something. One question by Dr. Shidal, that is inquisitiveness in children may not be negative. So what to take for that? Then it is no need to take. There are some rubrics like the agility, mental, or this zealous, etc. Then no need to take that rubric if this is a positive thing. If it is a negative thing, then only we can take it as inquisitive. And does inquisitive not mean as want to gain more knowledge, sir? Another question. And that's usually a negative aspect. Inquisitiveness means. If the individual already know the answer, in many instances, they want to check it whether the speaker or the teacher know the answer. Then only we can consider it as inquisitive. That means negative aspect. Pertinacity, Dr. Neeraj Gupta, persisting in one decision even if others or the entire community disagrees. Now, industrious, we always take some, curiosity is another good rubric for if the patient has some, curiosity to know something. But inquisitive is a negative thing. So regarding the industrious, always take care of while this rubric. Dr. Shravandi, I will complete this industrious and I will answer it. So industrious means workaholic, but in many instances the net results are fruitless. And just go through the 3-mark remedies in the rubric in Kent's repertory or the synthesis repertory industrious. One rubric is orometallicum. One medicine is orometallicum. They are very perfect, but ultimately they will commit suicide. Another remedy is Tarantella hispana. They are also very violent, very good dancers and etc. At the end they will destruct everything. So industrious means workaholic, but in many instances the net results are fruitless. Always industrious rubric. But if the patient is hardworking, it is better to take the rubric zealous. Z-E-A-L-O-U-S. That means hardworking. And the result is also good. But in industrious, the many instances, the net results are fruitless. We'll never get the good result. You got the point. The difference between, I mean, this the problem in the industrious and inquisitive. Now, question by Dr. Sravanti. Yes, okay. Difference between misanthropy and fanaticism. That is also somewhat similar, but the medicines are different. Misanthropy means I have a prejudiced feeling towards that particular community, or a particular religion or particular caste. That means hatred of a whole mankind, dislike. But fanatic means I am intolerant. I will act against that particular community, like the riots against that particular community. Legal action against that particular community. That type of riots or this action against other community is not found in this misanthropy. I dislike. That is only I dislike only. But in fanatic means I will act against that particular community. Dr. Sravanti, I think you got that. You got the difference between these two rubrics. Then one question by Dr. Shivam Gupta. Industrious evening medicinis lacasis. What that is means, sir? That means in the evening, I mean probably they will work a lot, but in maybe in many instances the net result that is not fruitless. Means at that particular time only they work hard. Fanatic involve violence, definitely that involve violence. Positive meaning of industrious, zealous, Z-E-A-L-O-U-S. Z is a good rubric in synthesis repertory. They are very hardworking, enthusiastic, zealous. That's a positive. Industrious is not always negative, but in many instances the net results are fruitless. Dr. Videsh there, what's your question? Okay, no problem. Continue. Now there is another rubric, admonition aggravates. Admonition aggravates. That means gentle advice aggravates. Nowadays the children or the children are not interested by the good advice of the parents or good advice by the teachers. So this type of gentle advice, in order to correct that particular individual, that aggravates, that means the admonition aggravates. And now there are a lot of rubrics to discuss. Instead of rubric, more and more rubric, I will give you some good references that will help you to study the subject in detail, because our time is about to conclude. And there are many slides to discuss, but don't worry about that. That is there. This PowerPoint is there, and I will give some good references that you can study this comparative study and the miasmatic study about this rubrics. For example, the angry, irritability, that means easily upset, but anger means a strong feeling of antagonism. Rage means he has no control over his anger. He will break the utensils or break the TV, whatever it may be. So irritability, easily upset. Anger means a strong feeling of antagonism. And the rage, he has no control over his anger and he uses violent means. So that's the difference between these three rubrics. Like this, when time permits, study this rubric, avaris, miserly, covetous, and the amorous, lasciviousness, lewdness, and shameless. These are some other rubrics related to the sexual desire, but entirely different. Amorous means the physical activity is not so important. He always talk about sexual thing, but in lasciviousness, he is always indulging in sexual acts. The act is more predominant in lasciviousness. This is extreme desire for sex. But amorous means he always talk about sexual matters. That's only audio, no video. But lewdness means desire to expose her body. That's a voluntary act. Purposefully she is exposing the body, like the filmmaker for the actress. But shameless, that's an involuntary act of exposing the body. So that's the difference between shameless and lewdness. One is voluntary and the shameless is not voluntary. So my advice, just to follow the words of the Dr. J.T. Kent. The proper use of the repertory will lead to correct offhand prescribing within years. The mechanical use of repertory never leads to artistic prescribing nor to remarkable results. the proper use by understanding the exact meaning of each and every rubric. That means it's an art. But mechanical use of repertory, instead of selecting anxiety for anxiety instead of fear, or anticipation instead of anguish, that type of mechanical use never leads to artistic prescribing nor to remarkable results. So the similar meaning rubrics, it is very easy to find out from the software Zomio. Suppose if you just type the again, you will get the similar related rubrics. Levedness, one question by Dr. Neeraj Gupta. That means she will expose the body. That's a voluntary act, purposefully exposing the body. That is levedness. Shameless, it's an involuntary act. So it is very easy with the help of the software Zomio. Just type one word, you will get the related rubrics on the right side. So there are a lot of rubrics in Murphy's repertory, like the autistic children, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. Nowadays it is very easy to treat the patient because of the advent of the modern repertories. Schizophrenia. So just visit our two websites, that is homeobook.com and similima.com. I think majority among you are familiar with these two websites. In homeobook.com you will get the section that's the repertory. From there you will download this entire articles or the comparative study of the different rubrics, interpretation of the different rubrics. Everything is available in this website under the section articles repertory. So visit the homeobook.com and also similima.com. And there's an article called Interpretation of Mind in Repertory. We have discussed about 1,500 rubrics in the chapter of mind repertory in synthesis of mind, rubrics in synthesis repertory in detail. And that is also another article called Comparative Study of Mind Rubrics and the Mind Rubrics for Busy Practitioners. These three articles that covers almost all the rubrics. So you can download it freely from our website. And something interesting about the body language before I wind up. So the persons look like this deceitful person. Deceitful means cheating. Apprehensive person. The personality is always like this. And the aggressor person look like this. Yeah, deceitful means can cheat. Very correct, Dr. Kumar. Then absent-minded. This is a look of the absent-minded people. Then confident. They are very confident that we can draw from their face. Then the brave personality. These are all direct rubric. Mind confidence or mind confident want of self. Negative people. Their attitude is like this. Then positive people. Their body language. We can convert this as directly. Impatience. And this is one of the former minister from one of our state in one of our Indian states. He is not ready to go to the direct way from this ladder. I mean the staircase. He just peeping through this in between the ladders. Staircase. So impatience. High spirited. These are all direct rubric. Mind impatient. Thoughtful. Our former Prime Minister. Thoughtful. Then proud. Yes, one Dr. Shivam has one more question. What's the rubric for desire for appreciation? That is a direct rubric. Mind appreciation longing for. Or mind longing for. Mind longing for. This is a direct rubric, Dr. Shivam. To get good opinion of others. That is a full rubric. Then dictatorial. Frightened. It's a direct rubric. Courageous. Hilarious. That means joyful. Pretend. Absence of guilt feeling. So which rubric will work out? This is an important rubric. Which rubric will work out for this condition? They are always pretending about their sickness. It's very difficult to deal with this type of patients. Which is the correct rubric for this particular condition? They are always pretending. Yeah, very good, Dr. Sridhalbati. The correct rubric is mind feigning sickness. Pulsatilla, Tarantula, Hispana are the main remedies. They are always pretending sickness. In order to get the attention of the bystanders or the family, they will come with the family and they pretend about the sickness. They need always some medicines. Pretend. Then boredom, liar. That's a direct rubric. Mind liar. And doubtful. Mind doubtful. That's the attitude of the patient. Mind doubtful. That's also direct rubric. Sincerity. Look at the shake hand of sincere people. Insincerity and again sincere. Then possessiveness. This is also a direct rubric. One of the famous actors from Kerala. Immediately after marriage in a reception, some another lady sitting in front of her. Possessiveness. That's a direct rubric. Mind possessiveness. Then lying or frustration. See the shake hand of aggressive people. The force, the arrow mark, the direction of force. Lack of confidence. They always shake hand like this. And insecurity. Shake hand, the direction of the force. Insecurity. Then this type of putting the hand behind, that either due to superiority or maybe due to confidence. There are two factors in this, either due to superiority or confidence. That's a direct rubric, mind superiority. Then this direction of smoke, that is confidence, that's on the above, and the negative, that's secretive. Then the nervous or fearful people, they always sit like this, nervous people. The dominant, second one. And the third one, the putting their hand in the court, that's the humble people. Now just listen to this useful references that may be useful for detailed study. I gave only a correct methodology, so I'll give some useful references. One book that's by Christopher K. Jones. This is published by the Links International. Homeopathy and Mental Health Care. That's a very good book in order to study about the mind or the various psychiatric disorders by different authors across the globe. Homeopathy and Mental Health Care, Integrative Practice, Principles and Research. This book is worthy because it places homeopathy with the context of the current mental health system at precisely the point where it is needed. It's comparing the current mental health system. And 23 leading healthcare professionals from around the globe. They are participated in this book. They are written articles about the various conditions. And if you like to know, study more about the mind rubrics, miasmatic aspect of the rubric, one of the best book I recommend, that is by Dr. Dheeraj Nanda, Miasm and Mind Rubrics. This is a very good rubric. Something for the practitioners and the clinicians. The author, Dheeraj Nanda, Miasm and Mind Rubrics. One question, what is the rubric? Next, another book is by the Docks and Kocklenberg. This is also a very good book for the comparative study of the medicines within the rubric. Comparative study of the medicines within the rubric. Docks and Kocklenberg. The name of the repertoire is Comparative Repertory to the Homeopathic Materia Medica. It's a very good book. Then another book, Manual of Psychiatry by Dr. J.P.S. Bakshi. In this book, they are given the psychiatric illness with their etiology, clinical features, prognosis, conventional treatment, which are that's related with the related rubrics for each condition. Suppose the anxiety neurosis, they will give the etiology, clinical features, prognosis, conventional treatment, etc., followed by the related rubrics for the anxiety neurosis. That's a very good book for finding the rubrics. Yeah, all these books are available in the market. You can just Google it. You will get the details about the publishers. One question by this Dr. Jagrudi. These books are available or not? Everything is available. And another question by Dr. Kumar. What's the rubric for the child weeps when told not to do a specific activity, like play video games? And I mean, if the students are the children are interested in a particular activity, if we want to do another activity, they will always think about their playing like the video games or this watching the Tom and Jerry, etc., etc. So that's a common thing, sir. Dr. Kumar, that's a common thing. If you divert from their interesting thing, they will usually have. That's a common thing, I think. One question by the Dr. Veerapradiran. Delusion rubric in our repertoire should be considered only for psychiatric treatment. No, not only for the psychiatric treatment. We can consider it in many cases, but that's very elaborate rubric, delusion. We have to give importance to the sub-rubrics under the main rubric, delusion. And another question, lie by adult for a reason and casual lie by a children, any difference in rubric? If this is a habit, then only we can take the rubric liar. If it is a habit, then only we can take the rubric liar. Otherwise, it is better not to take the rubric. And these are the main chapters in this. And another important reference, that is Key to the Rubrics of Mind by Dr. M.L. Agarwal. And as I said earlier, the mental rubrics are very difficult to study by the dictionary meaning alone. But in this book, they have given a lot of clinical conditions. And this is prefaced by Dr. Jugal Shah. This is a very good book for to study the rubrics of the mind by Dr. M.L. Agarwal. And in the software, the famous software, the world famous software, Zomio, you will get a lot of, this means interpretation of the rubrics and the related rubrics. And if you type in the patient own language, this software will give you the correct rubric. And that is also a very good thing. This is useful, especially for those who are not so familiar with the rubrics and repertories. This software is a highly user-friendly one. And my conclusion, and before that, I think we have some more questions by Dr. Sheda. If jealousy person is lean and thin, is it psychosis? If jealousy person is lean and thin. Jealousy, I cannot have a good correct answer for that. The lean and thin, that's not a hard and fast rule for psychosis. If the patient is usually the chubby people, we classify it as psychosis. But the lean and thin people, that's not a negative thing for the psychosis. Jealousy person may be lean or maybe obese. I don't know exactly what the question Dr. Shada means. Another question by Dr. Sangeeta. Fear of blood or assuming red color like Gupta as blood. Which rubric? That's a direct rubric. I think mind, fear, blood. But Gudka as blood, that need to refer under the rubric mind, fear or mind delusion. Then by Dr. Ranjit Kumar, what is the rubric for a person depend on others' opinion always? That we can have the rubric, just a second, mind dependent of others. Mind dependent of others. Dr. Ranjit Kumar, the rubric, there's a direct rubric, mind dependent on others. Continuous, another question by Dr. Mona, continuous vomiting from grief. There is a vomiting. So there is a no direct rubric, I think, for the continuous vomiting from grief. We can take it as mind ailments from grief and stomach vomiting incessant. Stomach vomiting incessant. And Dr. Mona, mind ailments from grief. Another question by Dr. Sheetal, mind head belongs to others. Mind head belongs to others. I can't get there. Dr. Sheetal, can you explain it a little more? Mind, plans, making, many. And another question by the rubric for image conscious by Dr. Neeraj Gupta. Rubric for image conscious. That is a direct rubric in the complete repertory. That is the chapter mind, thoughts, persistent, beauty and love. Mind, thoughts, persistent, beauty and love. Then Ikhlas Ahmad, one question. What's the rubric for a person thinking himself as a fool? He thinks himself as a fool. That we need to refer under the rubric mind delusion. Foolish behavior is another rubric in the chapter mind, but that is the other person observing him as a foolish behavior. But he himself thinks as a fool, that we need to search under the rubric delusion. So Dr. Mahida needs the name of the books. I will read it once again. And Dr. Divagar, personality disorder rubrics. There are a lot of personality disorder rubrics available in our repertory. There is a direct rubric in modern repertories like synthesis, Murphy, complete repertory, etc. Dr. Divagar, that's a bipolar disorder. And then another rubric that is that's one rubric, direct rubric, that's personality also. Then behavioral changes. There is another rubric in mind chapter of synthesis repertory that also contains a lot of rubrics related to the personality, Dr. Divagar. And Dr. Sheetal, as explanation, I was suggested that for people who make others take their decision. Yeah, they will not take decisions. That is a cowardice people. Cowardice. Dr. Sheetal, cowardice. And lack of confidence, Dr. Chand, one question, lack of confidence because he can't speak English. Rubrics are. Lack of confidence. And that we can direct rubric, mind, confidence, want of self. The language, that is only a medium for communication. No need of grammar or spelling in communicative English. So don't worry about that. That means mind, we can take mind, confidence, want of self. Another question, what is the meaning of moonlight aggravates? That means the mental complaints aggravates during the moon phase, either decreasing or either increasing or the full moon phase. And Dr. Rajesh has one question, patient having fear of disease and he wants he cure as early as possible. This type of sentence tell every time repeatedly. What I can take rubric? That's the rubric that we already discussed in the beginning. There are two rubrics, mind anxiety, health about, and the mind fear disease impending. Mind anxiety, health about, and mind fear disease impending, and in the bracket incurable. Mind disease impending. And another question by Dr. Vishal, interpretation of a dream, repeated dreams of mud. That is available in the chapter dream. Mind, that's a separate chapter in the synthesis repertory, or even in cancer repertory until sleep, you will get the dream persistent. Dreams persistent. And another question by Dr. Shobha Wasa, avoid eat certain food when read negative things about it. And I think that's a common habit, avoid reading. And because of fear and contamination, then we can take the rubric mind fastidious. If there is any fear of contamination, we can take the rubric mind fastidious. And Dr. Neeraj Gupta wants the name of the book. I will read it again, no problem. And another good question by Dr. Mona. Gender identity disorder, blaming mother, why not accepting to change the gender? Gender identity disorder. Can you explain, Mona, a little bit the specific symptoms, and I will give the rubric. I will try to answer for that. And Dr. share the one question. If a person is suffering from cough and cold, also think that he is suffering from big problems like cancer, what is the rubric, sir? Pardon, sir? Yeah, suffering from big problem like cancer. Then there is a direct rubric. Mind, fear, cancer off. Tabadila is the main remedy. Mind, fear, cancer off. And the dictionary meaning of the moonlight is that's entirely different. We cannot study the mind with the dictionary meaning alone. Another question by Dr. Ikhlas. If a patient say, I feel like what is happening now is already happened before with me. Yeah, that's a direct rubric. Prophesying. Mind prophesying. Ikhlas noted, mind prophesying. And Dr. Shivam Gupta, there is another question, that is, if the patient has repeated dreams of falling, what we should take, dream repeated or dreams falling? We can take a dream falling. If it is continuous for a long time, then we can take it as a dreams persistence, the same type of dreams. Yeah, this is an explanation by Dr. Mona. Born as a lady and behaving since childhood as a man. And that's a rubric. There's some rubrics are there in the chapter mind of the synthesis repertory about the, you need to refer it. Dr. Mona, there is some rubrics are there in synthesis repertory, but I need to refer it. Then another question by Dr. Lalita. Sir, does imponderabilia remedies help in curing symptoms of person with moonlight aggravation or related to that? That is also a question that it is better to ask with some miasmatic experts. Dr. Mona, I will refer your question and answer in, just have a mail to me. So somebody wants the reference book once again, so that I will have that reference book once again. Just note down the name. First book, that is by Dr. Christopher K. Jones. You just type the name of the book in the Google, you will get the details. Homeopathy and Mental Health Care, Integrative Practice, Principles and Research. It's a very good book, every homeopath should read, because it places the homeopathy within the context of the modern health system. And second book, Miasm and Mind Rubrics by Dr. Neeraj Nanda. These are all available in India. Miasm and Mind Rubrics by Dr. Neeraj Nanda. And the third book, Dox and Kokelenberg. The name of the book is Comparative Repertory to Homeopathic Materia Medica. Comparative Repertory to the Homeopathic Materia Medica. This will give you a good idea about the difference between the remedies within a particular rubric. The author, Dox and Kokelenberg. It's a classical book, Dox and Kokelenberg. And another book, Manual of Psychiatry by Dr. J.P.S. Bakshi. J.P.S. Bakshi. And this is an unavoidable book, Key to the Rubrics of Mind, Dr. M.L. Agarwal. And another unavoidable thing, that is Homeopath, the software by Homeopath team, Zomeo. If you are typing the name of the disease or the patient symptom in your own language or in the language of the patient, this software will give you the exact rubric. And this facility is not available in many other softwares. You type in the language of the patient, you will get the exact rubric. So, homeopathy holds tremendous potential for widespread application in the field of mental health. We must have good vision, loyalty and dedication. Only you can do something about it. So take homeopathy into greater heights. And this is one of the famous words of the Dr. Carol Dunham. Give something to homeopathy. Homeopathy will give you much more. Homeopathy will give you much more. This is as in the case of the Dr. Jawahar Shah Sir. He is investing a lot of money, lot of pain and lot of teamwork, everything for homeopathy. If you give something to homeopathy, homeopathy will give you much more. As a student or as a practitioner or as a publisher or as a software producer, whatever it may be, give something to homeopathy, homeopathy will give you much more. So far we have discussed about the body language, miasm at the cellular, physical, organ and mind level, and the problems in the interpretation of the mind rubrics and how we can overcome that problems. Then the comparative study of the similar rubrics, why it is essential, and what are the reliable methods of tracing the mental symptoms. And finally, repertory, that's an unavoidable, user-friendly tool in homeopathy. And I know that still a lot of questions are there in the chat section, but I don't know this time there is a main limit, and you can mail me. I will definitely give answer for that, or text me in my number. And if we are not considering the miasm, the beginning was promising, the continuation less favorable, and the outcome hopeless. So these are all the reference that I used for this work. Homeopathy Somio, Lectures of Homeopathy Materia Medica by Kent, Doxen Cocklenberg, Ortega Notes on Miasm, Agarwal Key to the Rubrics of Mind, Viratanta Miasm and Mind Rubrics, Christopher K. Jones, Philip M. Bailey's Homeopathy Psychology, Professor Vijay's Enmiasmization and Genetic Materia Medica. And once again, I would like to thank the Jawahar Shah sir for arranging a webinar like this, and also the hundreds of participants. They curiously, they attended this webinar, and I know that still you have a lot of doubts, and it is very difficult to cover this mental rubrics with 2 hours, and we can later have some more session if time permits. And that's all for the time being, and then I hand over the mic to Dr. Jawahar Shah sir.
Dr. Mansoor, we will have Mind Part 2. I want to thank you from my heart for your sincere efforts, commitment, and the time which you are devoted to the organization. On behalf of every delegate who has been present and who will be seeing the recorded version, I want to genuinely thank you. And also, friends, let's see you again on 9th, 10th, 16th and 21st of June. Enjoy the weekend. We love you. We love homeopathy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for the listening, patient listening.
Give your best comments. Give the ratings. Give the comments.